Thank you for being here, everyone. Welcome to the Partner Now Theater. We got our last presentation of the day from Stave, and Martin's going to be giving some awesome presentation here. It's a 15-minute session, so please keep your questions to the end. I'll walk around with a mic, and I'll hand you the mic, and you can ask questions. And we'll do the giveaways at the end. Martin, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So today we're going to be talking about migrating to scope applications. As we mentioned, we're going to be giving away a Sona speaker at the end, so make sure you put your name in the fishbowl. So, first thing we're going to cover is what is scope, what does scope mean? So application scoping basically protects an application and segregates it within the ServiceNow environment. So it's going to give you better data protection, you can assign specific developers to your application, so you get much better governance over your platform, and you can get other business units to join in your platform as well. Some information about a couple of myths that are out there about going to scope. There's not enough time to do it. So we have customers that are in global, and we talk to them about going to scope, and they're like, well, this is going to be a massive project. How are we going to do it? There's not enough time for it. Also, it's going to cost us millions of dollars, right? They've been getting quotes from all over the place, right? It's going to cost millions. And it requires additional expertise. So for us, these are all myths, right? We're going to cover how we tackle all these issues in a use case towards the end. So like I mentioned before, some of the reasons for going to scope: data protection, system administration segregation, checks and balances between applications to make sure you're not interfering with anyone else's work. And compliance with ServiceNow out-of-box products. As we all know, some products from ServiceNow have been moving from global to scope. So that's also an issue that we can address. So how do we get to scope? First thing we have to do, we have to identify what we need to move, right? So some of the things we need to make sure we understand is what are the tables, what are the scripts, catalog items, portals, notifications, all those artifacts that we've been working with in our app. We need to identify them so we can move them to scope. We also need to find a reason for moving to scope, right? It's not just let's go to scope, right? We need to understand what's our true purpose so that we can prioritize our work and have a really successful project. And another thing we like to mention is you can either do a full migration, move everything to scope, or you can also do a phased approach. So there's reasons and benefits of doing that as well, and we'll cover it in the business case like I mentioned. So here it is, our case study. One of the first projects we did where we migrated was actually an HR implementation. So we worked with one of the largest entertainment companies in the world. They were using the HR application in the global scope. And they have been using it for almost 4 years now. So there's a lot of information there, a lot of configuration. Their purpose for going, the reason behind it, was due to privacy law requirements. They were going live in Europe, and their laws when it comes to data are completely different. So they couldn't have administrators impersonate users and potentially see that information. So that was our key, is whenever we go to scope, we got to make sure that we have data protection. Okay? So the move also will allow them to leverage additional out-of-box functionality. ServiceNow was discontinuing the global HR product, and now everything's going to scope. So that was identified as a secondary reason for us. And then, being a large company, they're busy putting out movies. They had a lack of internal resources and a tight release schedule. Okay, so we had to work around that, and that's how we came up with our project plan for it. We did probably about 2 weeks of analysis to determine the total effort. That was 3 resources full-time, going through every script, everything that ever touched any of the HR tables, any configurations that were done on top of it. So it took us about 2 weeks. Since data was the priority, not all elements were going to be moved to scope. So we have basically a 2-month window where we have to fit this project. So what we're going to do is focus on the data first. We're going to make sure that moving forward, all the data is protected by scope, and then we'll focus on moving the scripts. Another thing that we had to do, we spent a lot of time writing scripts for the data migration. So something to keep in mind is you got to analyze your data. What needs to move? In this case, everything was moved. We did, I think, approximately, it was 14 million records across different tables that were moved. So we spent some time prioritizing, okay, let's move open cases first. Then let's look at historical data. And then we even moved audit data because everything had to be protected. So the results, like I mentioned, we had over 14 million records that were moved. The entire project from start to finish was done in approximately 3 months. There's still people that don't believe that they were moved to scope, but they are. They're live in production. I can say all bugs that were raised after go live were addressed within 2 weeks. As you know, if you're migrating active workflows, we run into some issues with that, so we have to adjust our scripts. So now we have smarter scripts that can look at that and basically recreate a workflow and put it in the exact stage that they needed for that flow. And the best thing of all, the customer is now fully compliant with the European privacy laws, and they're actually going live with the full project in a couple weeks. So Europe is not using it yet, but the current implementation, it's in scope, and now Europe can finally start using it in approximately 2 weeks. Before I move to the tool that we created to address some of the issues, if you guys want a reference from our customer, let me know and we can connect with them to get some additional information if you want. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to introduce the Stave Scope Evaluator. So what we did as we were going through this project, we identified, we're like, there must be an easier way, there must be something out there to help us go to scope quicker. So what we did, we came up with this application that basically takes down the 2 weeks of analysis time into just a click of a button. So the analysis now takes basically minutes, and it's not only compatible with global applications from ServiceNow, but even with custom applications. So if you ever build a custom application and go global, you can run our tool against it, and it's going to give you basically a list of all the artifacts that need to get migrated, so you can have a successful migration. So basically you're getting your checklist. The work is still manual. There's no way to get around it. If I were to tell you right now that I can automate that, I would be lying to you. Because there's too many things that we need to check when it comes to field label creations. There are some scripts that we need to analyze. Not all APIs are compatible in scope, right? So those are the things that we need to address. So that's why I'm telling you, it's not possible to fully automate it, but we can get you there much quicker. So for a free demo, feel free to stop by our booth. I'm going to be there after the show. I'm also going to be hanging out here. So if you want to see how the product works, we'll be more than happy to give you a demo. And other than that, I'll just open it up for